everybody. Welcome to the Ellis Talker Show. I'm DV LeBron. Today I got a very special guest. I have Miss Jessica Ward, who's running for Midlothian ISD School Board Place 5.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, good to finally meet you and good to have you on the show. Thank you for agreeing to be on and answering questions for the people of Midlothian. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Okay. Yeah. I know that, you know what? I know that this sometimes can be a little interesting. It's not a natural condition for some. I even get the nerves before this, so I have to play some classic rock or something to get me stoked up. So, yeah. But I want you to go ahead and talk to the people of Midlothian. Tell them about you, who you are. Like if nobody knows you, and just go ahead and tell them about you. And were you born here in Texas? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. I was born and raised here in Texas. I was actually born in Athens. So I'm an East Texas girl. Had family that grew up down Cedar Creek Lake area. And kind of split ways between mom and dad. And whenever I met my husband 13 years ago, I fell in love with this community and I decided to, move me and my girls here. He has been around Midlothian since I believe like around 96. So his family has definitely seen all of the growth that they've been experiencing or we've been experiencing. So I have 7 kids. My husband and I were blended. So I have three girls and he has 4. The oldest is 24. The youngest is 14. And the 14-year-old attends Frank Seal Middle School. And we have 2 juniors. My husband's youngest son is a junior at MHS. And then my middle child is a junior at MHS. And we recently, a little over a year ago, had our first grandbaby from my husband's second oldest daughter. So that's super awesome. He's amazing. We have so much fun. Yeah. And so I love our community and I love being a part of our community.
That is fabulous.
I could go on and on and on.
Oh no. Well, you know what? I 7 kids, 7. That's a lot. That's a tribe. That's not kids. That's a tribe. So
we are the Brady Bunch, and I'm very proud of it.
And that's I love that. I didn't have a big family, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So why did you want to run for the school board?
Well, I mean, a few things, obviously. My passion for this community, for our visions, our values in this community. We are a growing community, and I really do think that we need strong leadership in our community to make sure that we are going down the path that the community wants. As new people move into this community pretty much every single day, we can still keep, like core values, I believe, instilled in our community. Because I mean, we're not super big, but we are getting big, and we eventually will have a very big population. And so I just want to make sure that we're doing it the right way, especially with our school district, and that we have the proper leadership in place in order to advance our district the way that it should be advanced under Dr. Faye's direction and vision, which I have spoke with her, and I'm fully behind her.
She's pretty fascinating. She's an awesome lady. Yeah,
she has some amazing visions for this district, and I want her to be successful. But in order for her, I think, to be successful, she's going to need some strong leaders that are going to be behind her and help that along. I also care about our children's futures. I care about my children's futures. I see how my children, especially my 8th grader, has been struggling, especially this year and, last year, obviously, due to the elephant in the room. I think a lot of our students have kind of forgotten how to communicate it, verbally, because we had to enclose them for so long. And so they only had to rely on technology. And technology is great, but I think too much technology can be a detriment. I think it could possibly hurt things
Yeah.
versus, help them. And so I feel, and now that I have a grandson, he'll be 2 in October, 4
Congratulations.
years. Thanks. We love him. He's so much fun, except whenever he runs around and I can't keep up.
Yeah, I understand.
But it's his future as well. It's every child that was supposed to be in kindergarten in 2020 and had to go into kindergarten and got no social skills.
Yeah.
And now our teachers in elementary are having to kind of deal with that.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
it shouldn't be their responsibility,
mhm.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
but it's the reality.
it is the reality. And we're definitely going to head into that COVID stuff and how it affected the kids, because it did. But I wanted to I kind of wanted to ask you, I kind of wanted to go through some stuff with you before we went into some issues, because we're going to cover them. Believe me, we're going to have some fun with that, Jessica. So, okay. So,
You're going to have to.
oh yeah, no. Well, you know what? I love the passion. I love the passion for the kids. More than just passion and want to do this is the amount of time that's required. If you're not putting in some hours in this and being part of this, the community and MISD, it really is not a good place for you, because you got to be part of that. Are you prepared to put in the time that you must to be a prepared and informed board member?
Absolutely. I'm already, preparing it. I'm a firm believer that knowledge is power, and I like to be educated on topics that I'm speaking about. Or if someone asks me a question, I like to have some sort of education around that subject. And I'm totally okay with, hey, that's a great question. I'm not 100% sure. Let me check and I will get back to you as soon as I have an answer, because I don't expect to know it all. But I'm already pretty much on a daily basis falling asleep every single night to policy.
Yeah, there's
And,
a lot of it.
and if I have to put in, 80 hours a week, then that's what I'm willing to do. Because if that is what is necessary, then that's what's necessary.
That's commitment.
This is running for school board is definitely not for someone that doesn't have a lot of time on their hands, and or doesn't have that drive or that passion to really want to focus on our district, on our needs, on what we're missing, on what we should have and we don't have, what we're falling behind on. And so like I said, if it requires 80 plus hours a week, I'm okay with that. I mean,
So,
even with, oh, go ahead.
so why do you think, what do you think you bring to the board? You would bring to the board if you were elected?
A lot of leadership. Just a lot of, does this make sense? Why are we doing this? What's the financial obligation behind it? Which I am I am going through and looking at, budgets and everything like that. I'm not afraid of budgets. I can read budgets. Um, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of hard to actually pinpoint just one thing that I would bring, because anyone that does know me knows that I'm not afraid to speak up. I'm not afraid to say the bad thing in the room, to have those bad discussions. Because unfortunately, whenever you are in that role, there will be hard discussions, and they need to be addressed.
Well, you said you
Um,
said you said leadership, and part of the board, and a big part of the board, is to lead. They're leading our school district going forward, and so that's a big attribute in itself. That and drive and having the time to put into it. Those all those things are so important um, to wanting to serve as a board member. So I wanted to ask you, in general, what is the board's responsibility? What is the duties of a board member?
Basically to govern and to oversee policy, and governance, hire superintendents, fire superintendents, um, govern, make sure that our district is staying within the laws, and, from state and from local
Good.
levels.
Yeah.
And they're there to be a partnership, right, with the superintendent. Ultimately, it is the superintendent's show. It is her district, and trustees are there to support her and to make sure that we are in line with governance, in line with policy, and then support her in her vision for the school district.
And that is definitely why you hire superintendents. The superintendent does the day to day, and you do the policy and the support of that day to day mission. Um,
Mhm.
so that the role, I wanted to ask you about the role of the board in the lives of the families of Midlothian, in the lives of the children and the teachers, that role, and how the importance that it plays.
I think it's extremely important. We have to, which I know, just through a few conversations, that our teachers are um, our teachers are essentially kind of like drained, and they don't feel, not, and I'm not saying this like every single one. Okay, so um, just some of the ones that I have talked to feel that they don't have the ultimate support that they used to have. And of course, a lot of that has to do with direction of changes, current leadership, of course, once again, elephant in the room, COVID, and everything that has transpired since then, plus everything that they have to just deal with on a regular daily basis.
Mhm.
Whenever I think of teachers, I don't think of a teacher having one class. That teacher has upwards of 7 classes a day with 20, 25, sometimes, 30 kids in a
Right.
classroom 7 times a day. A teacher sees, upwards of 100, over 100 students every single day. And they need to be able to lead those students to be able to become successful. And
Right.
without the teachers having a, like feeling like they're successful in what they're doing, and the district having successful guidelines or whatever for them to follow, I think it's hard for teachers to really,
Be
want to
successful.
focus or be 100% and it's not their fault. It's just the way it is right now. But it can be fixed.
Yeah.
It's not something that is broken and can't be put back together. It can definitely be molded. It can be put back together. I firmly believe that we can, if our teachers are happy in the classroom, students will be happy, which in turn students will be able to understand the material, be able to ask those questions to the teachers. The teachers will be able to maybe provide that one-on-one instruction for that one student, because each student does learn differently. Not one student is the same, no matter how many of the same attributes that they have. Every student is different.
It definitely is something that's a key to success, is having teachers that have support, because then they will that transcends that that'll help them educate our children. Now, one of the things that the board is very important in that you set tax policy. The biggest chunk of the taxes that come out of people's mortgage comes for the school district. And as everybody knows, everybody's getting pinched with taxes. There's people who are losing their homes or getting close to losing their homes. Their mortgage just keeps going up and they have a fixed income. They're paying those school taxes. So in general, what is your belief on taxes and government?
You really want to know?
Well, you're talking to the people of Midlothian.
All right, guys, this might sound crazy. I understand why there's a need for taxes. However, I also see our growth in our community. And I see that there is 4,000 homes being built in this community, 4,000. And that's just over, I believe, like the next few years. So there's no telling, in the next 10 years, we could have, 10,000, 15, 20,000 more homes built in this community. So I think along the lines of, whenever we're talking about taxes, we need to be extra responsible for what we are asking our taxpayers to give to the school district, because every single day, like I said, we have pretty much people moving into Midlothian. Of course, you have people moving out as well, but the people that are moving in far outweighs the people that are moving out. And you have a lot of young families, with younger children, a lot of young couples moving in, wanting to start their family here. And I don't want them to move here thinking that, oh, everything's going to be great and there's a great education, the district is great and everything. And then they decide, okay, well, we're going to start our family. And in 5 years, 6 years, whenever that child's ready to go to school, they're looking like, oh, no, like all they've been doing is raising my taxes. And why? Because our population has been growing every single year. So I really do think that we need to look at the growth as well. Because every single house, obviously, that is built does provide additional tax. So I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair to continue to increase taxes at all.
Yeah. And
when we have a solid growth chart in the city side and on the school side. But I understand the need for them. I do.
Yeah.
If we could find a way to honestly get rid of taxes and go a different route, I would be
property taxes, right?
I would be all for, some type of movement, because unfortunately, like you said, with the values going up, tax appraisals, you do have people that are here and that have been here their whole lives, their whole families, generations of families. And they are getting pushed out of their homes, but they're still a taxpayer. Like their voice still matters because they are still a citizen. They are still part of this community. And their voice matters just as much as the new person that just moved into the city today, and because we're a community, we should all want the best for our community. We should all strive for the best for our community
Yeah.
because, and there are a ton of great people in this community.
Mhm. I
And I
agree.
meet them every day.
Right.
And I'm amazed by the hospitality um, in this community. I know you do see a lot of the negativity through social media and everything, but if you actually get out there um, and make yourself vulnerable, you'll see that this community is built on a ton of heart
Right.
and a ton of people that genuinely care and want to help. So I know
Yeah.
I'm going sidebar. Sorry. See the passion coming through. Um,
Yeah, it's coming through, and you definitely mentioned something that like and I'm sorry if I cut you off. I
no,
really don't mean to. I want you to get as much as information as possible about you out there. And the thing is that sometimes it doesn't go as scripted, and that's okay because your passion is showing. And passion is something that people respect very much. So um obviously we talked about taxes, and with that you mentioned growth, and the district is growing. It's growing quite a bit, and the city's growing. So do you believe that it's good to have a relationship with the city council in order to um, put schools in the right place where they need to be going forward as we grow, having to put new schools here or there? Do you think it's good to have a partnership with the city on that?
absolutely. Um, I'm a firm believer that the city and school district should be kind of hand in hand. It shouldn't there shouldn't be a what's in it for me type mentality. Um, it, I do know from sitting on a city board for the last 6 years that um, sometimes it can be difficult when there's negotiations going on between the city and the school district. And I don't think it has to be that way. I really don't, because you all, this is for, like the benefits of our city. So I absolutely agree, like 1000 wholeheartedly agree that there should be a solid partnership between our city council and our school district. 1000.
So you mentioned COVID earlier, and of course the unmentionables, the COVID. It looks like I am not a doctor nor a CDC official, but it looks like we might be on the other end of this, and I pray to God that we are. But if we're not, and it comes back roaring, um, are you going to try to, or are you going to support any restrictions that are within the law? I think Texas has passed laws pretty much kind of banning those things, but just in case.
Mhm. Never. That's not my decision. That is the parent's decision. That is that child's decision if they're high school. Um, I will never, ever, ever be for any type of mandate, be for any type of covering a 6-year-old's face, you know, for 7 hours a day, putting up partitions. I will never be for that. Um, I will always be a hard no.
Excellent.
Yep.
And that's a good position to have. Um, so COVID, going through one when we were the whole country was going through this COVID. Right in the middle of that, we get slapped with a, a, a George Floyd's killing and a big thing on race. We had a reckoning on race where it hit everything, and the problem or you know, the well, for lack of a better word, the problem is that it's gotten in the way of governance and getting stuff done, because these social issues are really tough. And we're going to cover some of the other ones, but um, what would you what are your thoughts on making people who may not look like everybody else comfortable in the school district?
How about love? um, Hold
Yeah,
on. I really hate seeing and hearing story after story after story about, which honestly I've heard quite a bit in the last couple of months, um, of students of color, um, feel like they don't have the same opportunities, and that it's unacceptable to me. Um, we are called to love, and I love everybody, no matter if what color of the rainbow you might be or you might want to be. Um, and we have to get back to teaching our children, you know, how to love everybody. And yeah, it might not be your thing. But it's not fair for, you know, the other kids that are trying their hardest and probably working twice as hard as, you know, Billy. Sorry, Billy, if there's Billy out there, but they're working twice as hard as little Billy, and they feel like they're still behind, or it's just tricky because I don't like to hear the stories that I've heard, and it has hurt my heart extremely. And I would like something to happen about that.
it's
I would like our district to be accountable for every single person. We owe that to those parents. Those parents entrust us to take their kids in on a daily basis and provide them the best quality education. They
yep.
shouldn't have to worry about the color of their skin. They shouldn't have to worry about the bullies. They shouldn't have to worry about, oh, you know, is so and so going to like
Mhm.
try to beat me up today?
Yeah, we're gonna cover bullying because that one came up. So
It it really does hurt my heart, and like I said, you know, I have spoke with Dr. Faye, and I really love her thoughts and visions on this. But once again, she is going to need, you know, some strong leadership in there, sitting up there with her in order to really implement, you know, what her vision is. Uh,
it's definitely I mean, there the support that you guys give in getting these things will go a long way. Whether it be how people are treated, you know, if they're different, to, you know, bullying. And as far as bullying is concerned, there's been several posts on different social media pages, or different pages in Facebook and different social media, that talks about the bullying that has happened in MISD,
mhm.
and maybe wasn't handled so appropriately. Um, and those are, I'm not making those accusations. They were online and it was very public.
Right, I saw them.
Um, so um, as a board member, there's only, you don't do the day to day. But what can you do to assure a parent that you're going to have their back if their kid is being bullied?
Everything in my power that I do have the power of, you know. Um, if I have to go walk into a school and be a fly on the wall, then that's what I'm going to do. We have got to stop this culture of I'm better than you, or you're lesser of me, so I don't like you, or, you know, well, your mom doesn't like my mom, so I can't be your friend. We have to stop all the nonsense. We have to be held accountable. Like I said, these students are in our care, or not, not mine, but they are
Yeah.
in our district's care, 5 days a week,
Mhm.
8 hours a day. Sometimes some of these kids are at school for, 10 hours a day whenever you talk about extracurriculars and this and that. And then, they they need the support. Our students should not be going to school afraid. They should not fear going to school. And it's absolutely ridiculous that that is a problem in
Yeah.
our district
Yeah.
today. Absolutely absurd, insane.
Yeah,
And
that's I saw. I mean, I saw video, and I mean, it's abhorrent. But you know what? It starts right here, folks, in the heart. It in your home. You got to be the ones to change the heart of your children so that they're more loving and kind. Or else the government steps in, and we don't always like the way they do it. So, speaking of that, there's things like SEL and CRT and different social things that have come down that have strings on budgets. They come down on budgets, and there's been a big talk about this. And one side will say CRT is not in the schools, the other one say that yeah, it's in there. Um, Kind of, what are your thoughts on that?
um, I am fully against CRT. I am a firm believer on back to basics. Basics worked. There, I my kids try to do Common Core math, and I literally don't like. I'm like, why? I can get to the answer in 5 seconds.
Yeah, I can't do my kids' math.
But the way that our teachers have to teach this math is like a 5-minute process. And my kid is over here getting frustrated with me because they want my help, but I can't help them because I said, "Well, there's the answer. The answer is right there. That's the answer." No, mom, no, I can't do that. I can't do. I'm like, oh my god. So I mean, I think the more we try to push political agendas, the further we lose grasp and true values on what our community is and what this community can be and how we are growing. Um, when political views are being pushed one way or the other, all you're doing as a district is hurting those students. You are not helping them. You are not being an advocate for the students, the teachers, the admins, the superintendent, the parents. You are not advocating for them because you only have one agenda.
So, as a school board member, how would you respond to efforts of special interest groups who advocate the censor of certain curriculums or perceive them to be in conflict with their personal beliefs? Because there's both sides in here, and they're both tugging. They're both in there, and you could see them at every single meeting. So, how do you respond to those efforts?
So at the end of the day, I want to hear everybody. You know, I have 2 ears. Sometimes I, choose which one I want to hear out of. I'm not going to lie. I'm a very transparent, very honest person. But at the end of the day, I want to listen to the voices and of our parents that once again are entrusting us and entrusting this district to provide their child with the solid education. And I feel at the end of the day, what my view is going to be is how does this affect our district? How does it affect our teachers? How does it affect our students? Um, does it only affect a certain group of students? And if so, why? Why does it only have to affect a certain group? Why can't we create something that works for, every student in that area? And I'm definitely not a person that likes to like hush people because I'm a talker. I love to talk.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's good because it gets out what you're trying to get to these different people. And how do you discuss how would you discuss these topics with people that disagree with you and remain civil as a board member, because this is different than your person as a board member, those people who disagree with the way you're doing things,
mhm.
how do you deal with them?
Well, number one, you're never always going to make everyone happy. At the end of the day, like I said, you have to do what is in the best interest of this district and what the core values, what this district, what this city was built on. And I'm not saying there can't be, progress or anything like that, but I'm saying that we have to I lost my train of thought now.
It's
I
okay.
don't know where we're going.
It's okay.
But I will always respect
Mhm.
everyone's opinion, whether they agree or disagree with me, because I'm not looking to make best friends by doing this. I'm not looking to have someone telling me what to do. I'm solely independent. And if it is not in the best vision or um, of the district, then I'm simply not going to be for it.
Okay.
If it
So
does not make sense for our district, then simply, I will not support it. I will not support unnecessary spending, unnecessary, um, you know,
yeah, yeah, no, I get it.
people, like attacks because we have different views or different opinions. That's what makes this world kind of go round, is everyone gets to have their own opinion.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
And whether or not you like someone, you if you are elected into a position of leadership, you should be able to have and be civil with that person or whatever entity you might be butting heads with in that type of setting. Bottom line, because that's what leaders are called to do.
Hmm.
You're not always going, if you only surround your people or surround yourself with people that are like minded of you, then you will never grow as a leader. You
Yes,
will
ma'am.
never be able to create more leaders in this world because you'll never be challenged on your thought process. You'll never be say, hey, wait a minute, what about this? Or have you thought of that? And I'm totally open to that because I don't have all the correct answers.
Right. Before because we ran out of time. So
Oh,
I actually went 10 minutes over. I like
oh
to keep
my
it a
goodness.
half hour, but
Oh, we did. I just noticed it.
I
Okay,
wanted
bye,
to
guys.
I wanted to let you get your voice out to the people of Midlothian. So can you go ahead and tell me or tell the people of Midlothian just in a brief closing statement why they should vote for you? This is your pitch.
Well, I think I just said it in the last 40 minutes, but there is so much more, you guys, that I am passionate for in this community, in our district, and I firmly believe that I could be that solid change that our district needs. I can be that driving force. I can be that leader that's not afraid to stand up, that's not afraid to have those hard conversations, and is also not afraid to be silent either. Um, because at the end of the day, this is our these are our children, these are their futures. And if we don't have leadership at the top, we don't have leadership anywhere in our district. So I would love if anyone has more questions, or if I, struck a chord with you and you would like to discuss it even more, please reach out to me. I have a Facebook page. I can give you my cell phone number. It's not a big deal. I'm not going to say it on here, but please reach out to me. I'm willing to meet. at any time. Coffee, lunch, whatever your schedule will allow. Or we can talk over the phone. Whatever questions anyone might have, please reach out to me. I would
So
love your support.
first, I want to thank you so much for coming on here. Your passion definitely came through, and I want to apologize for times that I jumped in there. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I wanted to get as much information out to the people of Midlothian. So please forgive me on those
No,
disruptions. So I she is running, and there's an incumbent, and his name is Bobby Soto. And I have reached out to Mr. Soto several times. I'm trying to see if I could get him on here to talk to you guys. Hopefully, we'll get that going. And thank you so much again for watching, everybody. And thank you again, Jessica, for coming on. Stick around. I'll talk to you afterwards.
all right. Thank you so much.